Prince Hidai ki.
Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namaste Sarasvati Devi Gaura Vani Prachaye Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Pastatyaji Satari Namaste Sarasvati Devi Gaura Vani Prachaye Nirvishesha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhattavrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhattavrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Jaya Jaya Gaura Chande Aarati Shobha Jaya Jaya Gaura Chande Aarati Shobha Jaya Jaya Gaura Chande Aarati Shobha Chakradhara
Jai Shri Shri Lakshmi Nrsimha Bhagavan ki.
Hare Krishna. Welcome everybody. My name is Krshna-seva Dulal, and we'd like to welcome you all here to the residence of our beloved Sri Sri Gaura ki Jaya. That's 212 Somerset East here in Ottawa. And maybe I'll start off by asking, is there anybody here for the first time? No? Some returning faces. All right, Krishna. Some new faces to me. I guess I see there's a devotee with nice tilak. I don't think I've met you personally before, no? Have we met?
No, we haven't.
You haven't?
Came here like 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
Last Sunday, but I'm glad to be here.
Must have left an impression, like literally. Have tilak, so nice. What is your name?
Rowie?
Rowie. Okay, my name is Krshna-seva Prabhu. Welcome. So we just finished having a Kirtan, Aarti ceremony here for the Lord, offering different paraphernalias with love and devotion, and chanting the holy names of the Lord as well. The Lord is present within His names, so we get to take direct communion, just like when you go to church, they give communion at some point in the middle of a service. So we're constantly taking communion when we're chanting the holy names of the Lord here. And the next order of service here is we have some discussion. We're going to have a presentation, and following the presentation, hopefully some questions and reflections. We can have a bit more of an exchange, and then we'll conclude the evening with some kirtan, and then some prasadam, which is food that has been offered to the Lord, and then we'll have a little meeting, because it was on our schedule that we would have a part 2 of our Ratha Yatra meeting, because we have our Ratha Yatra festival of the chariot scheduled on the 27th of August. And so I know, just from what I know, some devotees have been up to scheming and making some progress in different areas already since last week. So we'll hear a bit of an update from that. So hope that if you are interested to stay, you'll be able to join us. And I'd like to introduce our speaker for today. It's going to be His Grace Krshna-seva Prabhu. Yay! Krshna-seva Prabhu is going to be speaking today, and I'm going to give him a little bit of an introduction. My good friend, of course. Krshna-seva Prabhu and his family, Mother Aarati Janaki, and Nikita Prabhu, who's right over there. Yeah, Nikita Prabhu. Krishna. Have been, and Camila, we're missing one more member of the troupe today, but they've been a big part of our community since, I think, 5-6 years now. Has it been 6 years? Probably closer to 6 years. And they came from Ukraine, and from the town of Dnipro. Is it Dnipro? Yes. And they got in touch and contact with the devotees in Ukraine. Actually, we have lots of temples there, lots of Hare Krishna devotees that are practicing actually all around the world. And there's quite a following, quite a taking in Ukraine. And so they were inspired by their associations with devotees there. And when they moved to Ottawa for work, Krshna-seva Prabhu works in IT. He came here, and the first thing that they came looking for was the Hare Krishna temple here in Ottawa. And so we got to know them, we got close with them for many years. We've been organizing festivals together and other activities. And as his name implies, Krshna-seva Prabhu, Prabhu likes to do a lot of seva, right, service. He's always there in different corners, right, trying to do things. So is his wife, Mother Aarati Janaki. They're always planning and decorating and doing things. And so it's a great pleasure to hear from them today. And I think his topic will be something on the topic of seva, right? So the service. It's a big thing in our ISKCON society, service, right? Devotional service, you may have heard that term before. So we're looking forward to hearing from that. So without further ado, Prabhu, very well.
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava ki Jaya, Krshna-seva Prabhu ki Jaya. Again, thank you for coming. And I prepared some presentation because I never developed public speaking skills, and English is not my first language, so I have to beg your pardon. I will be reading today. So in order to keep eyes contact, maybe you can keep with the TV, with the screen instead.
Oh yeah, here it is. So the topic I selected to speak on, better to say, to have discussion with you. Oh, it's opulent, too opulent. Is practical aspects of devotional service. I would like to share with you some thoughts that I put together about the practical side of devotional service. It will be some kind of motivational discussion. First of all, I'm trying to motivate myself and on this path of bhakti and devotional service, and then I will try to share this motivation with all of you. So So today, the discussion will be just about one aspect of devotional service, which is practical part of it. And but first, let's define what is devotional service, and we can find its definition in the books, in a book called Nectar of Instruction. Well, actually, it's in many places from Srila Prabhupada's books, but it's just one of them. And so in the third verse in his purport, oh, I'm so sorry. Invocational prayers, I forgot about them. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Shrimati Niranjana Swami Namine Anahata Prasena Prabhupada Satushtaya Sankirtana Pravrityartha Mahate Gurave Namaha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Shrimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaura Vani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasati Gaura Bhaktamundra Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhagavacha Patitana Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Sorry, so getting back to the presentation, in the third verse of his purport to Nectar of Instruction, Srila Prabhupada says that devotional service is not a matter of sentimental speculation or imaginative ecstasy. Its substance is practical activity. Srila Rupa Goswami in his Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1.1.11 has defined devotional service as follows. Anya bilashita shunyam yana karmadya anavritam anukulyena krishnanam Shilanam, Bhaktir Uttama, Uttama Bhakti, or unalloyed devotion unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, involves the rendering of devotional service in a way that is favorable to the Lord. This devotional service should be free from any extraneous motive and devoid of fruitive karma, impersonal jnana, and all other selfish desires. So the main point for us here is that the substance of devotional service is practical activity. And this activity should be done without any motive other than to please the Lord, right? And also, if we continue reading that purport, we can see how the word activity is the basis of devotional service. And the next one. Bhakti is a sort of cultivation. As soon as we say cultivation, we must refer to activity. Cultivation of spirituality does not mean sitting down idly for meditation, as some pseudo-yogis teach. Such idle meditation may be good for those who have no information of devotional service, and for this reason it is sometimes recommended as a way to check distracting materialistic activities. Meditation means stopping all nonsensical activities, at least for the time being. Devotional service, however, not only puts an end to all nonsensical mundane activities, but also engages one in meaningful devotional activities. And then Srila Prabhupada is referring to Sri Prahlad Maharaj, who recommends 9 processes of devotional service. We can go really quick through them. You probably already heard. And we always hear from the books, from our spiritual masters, from previous acharyas, the most important 2 processes of devotional service for those people who come into Krishna consciousness are considered as Shravan and Kirtanam, right? Hearing about the Lord and chanting His holy name. So these are the first 2 processes of 9 main processes of devotional service. And let's review really quick. So Shravanam, hearing; Kirtanam, chanting the glories of the Lord; Vishnu Smaranam, remembering the Lord; Padasevanam, serving the Lord's feet; Archanam, worshipping the deity; Vandanam, offering obeisances, praying unto the Lord; Dasyam, acting as the Lord's servant; Sakyam, making friends with the Lord; Atmanivedanam, surrendering oneself fully to the Lord. But today I would like to discuss practical devotional service, which is most likely can be referred to Padasevanam and Dasyam. You may say, but the first two, the most important as a result, are most practical, right? Hearing and chanting. And yes, you're absolutely right. But today, let's see what happens when you are constantly making effort to be engaged in the first two, in hearing and chanting. And naturally, when you constantly hear about the Lord's pastimes and when you chant the holy name, when you glorify the Lord, you will feel this urge to do something practical as well. At least how it was in my case. So what are the practical activities in Krishna consciousness? Let's name some. Anybody would like to?
Sweeping it and mopping it.
One of the best.
Cooking prasadam.
Cooking prasadam, nice. Cooking for the Lord. Making garlands, nice. So yeah, actually these activities are unlimited. And here are just some of them. It can be something direct, like serving the deity, archanam, cooking for the Lord, as you said, right? And also distributing this knowledge to others, as Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 18, verses 68 and 69. There is no servant in this world more dear to me than he who explains this supreme secret to the devotees. So these are some direct activities that one can do, right? But also if you don't have Brahminical initiation, right, yet, and you can't serve deities on the altar in the temple, you can serve deities at home. Or if you are not inclined to preaching, distributing books, you can help other devotees by supporting such activities. For example, we have a monthly Sankirtan festival when devotees come together and go on the streets to distribute books about Krishna, so more people know about him. So you can help devotees with ordering the books, bringing them to the spot, packing in a nice way, sponsoring the books, so that they can be distributed for free to some people. And okay, let's leave books distribution topic for now. What else? You can learn musical instruments, right? For glorifying the Lord in a melodious, beautiful way. You can participate in some projects related to spreading Krishna consciousness. Help organizing events, festivals, like we are preparing for Radha Yatra festival, as you heard. Which will help less than in a month. It will happen less than in a month, and many devotees take charge of many departments, from contacting members of parliament, like Madhava does, inviting them to participate, and to taking care of arranging huge tents, like Krshna-seva Prabhu does, and like to just come into greeting people, on the street and saying Hare Krishna, and giving them booklet about the festival, about activities at the temple. So you can participate in festivals, or you can support the temple as well. For example, helping with accounting, if you are good at it, and doing some logistics for the temple activities. Use whatever skills you have for the Lord, in other words. And so you can participate in big projects, but also you can do something a bit simpler, I would say, like if you're handy, you can fix something at the temple, or you can bring some flowers or fruits for the Lord, clean the dishes, as you said, mop the floor in the temple. Yep.
Cleaning toilets.
Yeah, let's leave it for some more advanced devotees. No. And don't think it's not important, because Srila Prabhupada says that the person who cleans the floor in the temple is on the same level as the person who worships the deity on the altar. Because the temple is considered as the body of the Lord, and when we clean the temple, we literally worship the Lord, right? At the end, it's not about scale of your devotional activity, it's about your consciousness. if you're investing your heart in it. And but we will talk about this side of devotional service a bit later. So just wanted to welcome those people who just came. We're talking about devotional service, about practical part of it, how we can express ourselves to the Lord, being a part of something big or small. So most likely you can feel some shift here towards serving at the temple and coming together, participating in some organizational work with devotees. So someone might say, why do I need to come to the temple, spend time, money on gas, buying something, etc. But in this case, I would answer, you're making an extra effort, and Krishna sees this, despite weather, despite health issues, so many more obstacles can be there. I'm determined, I'm doing this yagya, this sacrifice for you, Krishna. And so someone else might say as well, I can dedicate my job to Krishna, results of my work. I can dedicate to the Lord my activities towards taking care of my family, right? Buying groceries, doing day-to-day activities, etc. And I would say, yes, that's perfect. And that's how it should be, right? This is the perfect stage of a real yogi who is constantly thinking about the Lord, dedicates like every activity to the Lord. But I'm not there yet. So not on that perfect stage yet. I'm speaking from my level, and I'm not there where I can say that every action that I do consciously for Krishna. That every breath of my life I dedicate to Him. That's pretty high level. So, which we all should aspire for. But at this stage, when I do something practical, I feel connected and just sharing with you. Connected to the temple, connected to the devotees, and ultimately connected to Krishna. So, for someone like me, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 12.10, actually in previous verses 12.8, he says, just fix your mind upon me, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and engage all your intelligence in me. Thus you will live in me always. That's pretty high. Let's see what's next. He says in verse 9, if you can't fix your mind upon me without deviation, then follow the regulative principles of Bhakti Yoga. In this way, develop a desire to attain me. And now our verse 10. If you cannot practice the regulations of Bhakti Yoga, then just try to work for me. Because by working for me, you will come to the perfect stage. And then in the purport, Srila Prabhupada says, let me read just what I highlighted here. One should be sympathetic to the propagation of Krishna consciousness. There are many devotees who are engaged in the propagation of Krishna consciousness, and they require help. So even if one cannot directly practice the regulative principles of Bhakti Yoga, he can try to help such work. Every endeavor requires land, capital, organization, and labor. Just as in business, one requires a place to stay, some capital to use, some labor and some organization to expand. So the same is required in the service of Krishna. There are various fields of activity, and one should be interested in such activities. This voluntary service to the cause of Krishna consciousness will help one to rise to a higher state of love for God, whereupon one becomes perfect. So that's something appealing to me. I can do something practical to move to the next stage, right? Okay, let's inspire ourselves with some of benefits of doing practical service. Anyone can name something that...
Good karma.
Good karma, yeah. Well, ultimately, we don't want not bad, not good karma, but yeah, that's something to start with. Yep.
It's a feeling that you're doing something, so some kind of satisfaction, achieving something.
Achieving something not for us, but
Yeah.
for Lord, for community. Right?
Better than sitting on the couch at home.
Yeah.
Connecting to higher conscience.
Yes. That's so important. Yes. Thank you. Anyway, let me share what I have on the list. So first, community development. Last Sunday, Madhava Prabhu was talking about developing a strong community, and so that is one of the aspects how we develop a strong community, right? Doing something together increases our fellowship. And here we can see our Vaishnava Sangha festival. So many devotees were coming previous years, and the another one is a small event, Kirtan event in Ottawa. So you can see how devotees, smiling, coming together, doing something together, and it's really nice. So even when you do something together with people outside of devotional service, like at work, gradually you will know more about your co-workers, you develop some relationships. And here with devotees, it's the same, but even more. Even stronger relationships, because you're doing something together for the Lord. Also, as Srila Prabhupada said in one of his final instructions, you will please me by cooperating with one another and keeping Krishna consciousness movement moving. So, next one is getting rid of some unwanted qualities. When we do some service for the Lord, we clean our hearts from such qualities like selfishness, greed, anger, and so on. So whatever we do for Krishna, as much as possible, it has to be selfless, unalloyed service, without any motive other than to please the Lord. In this case, the better will be its purifying effect, right? Like the gold is tried with fire. By the purifying fire, gold is becoming cleansed from impurities. So the same analogy here. Fire of our desire to please Krishna cleans our hearts, and the purer our heart, the more progress and the advancement we make on our path of bhakti. So we have one particular lila from the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya. By the way, Lord Chaitanya is on the altar on the right, Krishna himself, Krishna and Radha, Radharani combined, and Lord Nityananda on the left, right? He is Lord Balaram himself. So one of the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya, which represents this process of cleaning our hearts through doing one particular practical service, cleaning the temple. Anybody knows what we are talking about? Which lila?
Gundicha temple?
Yes, exactly. So it's Gundicha Mandir. Just short about this pastimes. This temple is located approximately 3 kilometers away from Shri Mandir, which is the main temple of Lord Jagannath in Shri Kshetrapuri Dham, Odisha. Every year, Lord Jagannath goes out on a grand chariot procession from his palatial home to his childhood home, Vrindavan. Gundicha Mandir represents Vrindavan, and to prepare for the Lord's arrival back home, the day before Radha Yatra, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu cleansed the temple along with hundreds of devotees. Following in the footsteps of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, this cleaning of Gundicha temple the day before Radha Yatra has continued for over 500 years. This practice is known as Gundicha Marjana, or the cleansing of Gundicha temple. So Lord Chaitanya is teaching us to make this effort to clean our hearts. Everything belongs to Krishna, and therefore by cleaning his temple and other paraphernalia, one automatically begins cleaning his or her heart, which ultimately belongs to Krishna too. So by the way, we're planning this Radha Yatra festival, and probably it would be great to have this event as well, to clean the temple at least a week before. I'm not sure about day, we probably will not have time, but at least a week before. Let's do it. Let's keep tradition. So getting back to the list of some of the benefits that we get when we do something practical. The next one is when you are doing practical seva, you are getting sukriti, or like more potency to understand the shastra, the philosophy. Sometimes it can get a bit complicated, just sometimes. Most of Srila Prabhupada's books are written especially for people of our age, Kali, for us, who are getting distracted, all the time. We're getting bored when we read philosophy. Not all of us, I'm talking about myself firstly, but where our mind is getting attracted to some mundane temporary news, faster than to some eternal truths like from these books. But doing some practical seva gradually, by doing this, we understand the Shastra, the scripture. It's like they're in theoretical knowledge, jnana, and when we apply it on practice, it becomes vijnana, practical knowledge. Also, Krishna reveals himself to those who are devoted to him. So, as he says in Bhagavad Gita, 10th chapter, 10th verse, Tesham sattata yuktanam vajata pritipurvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yanamam upayanti te. So the translation is, to those who are constantly devoted to serving me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me. And also in Srimad Bhagavatam 2:35, Srila Prabhupada says, actually the Lord is not perceivable by our present materialized senses, but when one is convinced of the presence of the Lord by a practical service attitude, there is a revelation by the Lord's mercy. And such a pure devotee of the Lord can perceive the Lord's presence always and everywhere. So that was about Krishna is being revealed by devotional service. And the next one. When you come and help devotees, you actually might get their blessings, and they might share some secrets of devotional service with you. Actually, when noting this benefit down, I was thinking, what would be the best example of this? Or better to say, who would be the best example of getting blessings when doing devotional service? And I immediately remembered one of the senior members of our community, Mataji Lila Mohini. She was serving for years in Govinda's restaurant here, greeting the students, welcoming visitors, washing the dishes, serving prasadam, cleaning the temple room after it's closed. And every time you talk to her about this, she's just like glowing with effulgence. Her eyes just like emanating enthusiasm. And she always says that it was the best part of her spiritual life because she was helping Shankar Prabhu, who was in charge of many things, running the whole temple, running Govindas for decades. And so when Mataji Lila Mohini was helping him, she says he was more eager to share some deep realizations of his spiritual life with her. And when she attended morning Srimad Bhagavatam classes, they had a connection, during the class, because she was always asking questions and noting down important points. So I thought it's like perfect example for me, somebody getting blessings from doing devotional service. So next one, let's talk about enthusiasm. And this is a big one. I have a lot of notes here. Do I have time? I hope. Let me go quick through this. So I was thinking of putting a picture of one very enthusiastic devotee here, and I couldn't think of better one than probably most of you have seen this devotee, Mandal Prabhu. He's just an embodiment of enthusiasm. Well, maybe one more. Yes, his spiritual master, Bhakti Marg Swami. By the way, he's coming to Ratha Yatra to our festival. But yeah, talking about enthusiasm, I have one warning for you. It can be contagious. Not sure if it's benefit or drawback. Yes, but when you come in contact with other devotees who are doing a lot, you seeing their enthusiasm, you get it as well. I can't say it's the same for any other activity, but when you see how devotees selflessly, completely devote themselves to doing something practical for the Lord, without any financial reward, not expecting for any kind of praise, looking how happy they are during that process. It's so natural to want the same, to be in the same state. So let me give one example. When we just moved to Ottawa, after a couple of months, I got to know devotees, and they told me we are having Harinam soon, and it was late fall. It was pretty cold, and Krshna-seva Prabhu said, "Let's go for Harinam." And I said, "Okay, let's go. How many people are going?" And he said, "Myself and Adishyam Prabhu." And I was like, "What? Who will be playing musical instruments? Who will be distributing prasadam?" And they said, "What prasadam?" So we just, immediately we understood that, we need to participate, because otherwise it won't happen probably. Or I don't know, probably you were going, two of you just
be Adishyam Prabhu and myself.
Okay. Yeah. So we joined right away with a small son. He was in a stroller, and my wife cooked some cookies, and we went. It was most ecstatical Harinam in my life. When there are a lot of devotees, you kind of natural. Okay, I'm with you. But when just a couple of people, it was pretty ecstatic. So I'm just getting charged with enthusiasm from such devotees. And you know what? We have many of them in our community, actually. You don't have to go far to charge your enthusiasm batteries. We have one big family in our community doing all kinds of services. I will not name them, but whatever service you can think of, they are on top of it. Here are just several of them: serving the deities, cooking for Sunday feast, like today, arranging preaching programs, taking care of temple management, arranging one of the biggest Vaishnava festival in Canada, and serving hundreds of devotees during that festival, opening a school with Vaishnava principles, taking care of the farm based on Prabhupada's instructions to develop farming communities, and so many more. So I'm getting charged from such devotees all the time. Another example, getting enthusiasm from chanting the holy names together with devotees. Most of you attended Kirtans of Krishna-seva Prabhu, of Kamal Lochana Prabhu, of Mataji Kundalata, and Mataji Anandamayi, and Mataji Nirantara Kirti, so many more. And let me ask you, when you hear such a nectarian kirtan, sweet kirtan of local devotees, don't you want to chant with the same level of devotion? Doesn't it inspire you to grab kartals, mridanga, harmonium, and start learning the art of kirtan? So one day you would be able to chant for the Lord with the same shakti, glorify the Lord in such a sweet way. I mean, I will leave it without answer. So we have many more devotees here who we can charge from. I'm afraid not to mention all of you, but at least a couple of more. Mataji Sushma is always eager to cook prasadam, to serve devotees. Her family always, cares, so many programs, taking charge of it. And of course, Mandalaram Prabhu, not only he's feeding the whole city with prasadam, but also preaching, sharing the taste of devotional service with anyone coming to these doors, literally every day. Who else? We have Matthew Prabhu taking care of many accounting and many more services to manage the buildings. You can do practical things not only at the temple. For example, Akinchanadan Prabhu and Narayana Priya Mataji, they are helping handicapped people and those with terminal illness to realize that the lost hope for them is Krishna consciousness. So the whole class can be given on their service. And so I'm talking about all these devotees not only for glorifying them and making them some kind of heroes. Well, actually, they are heroes for me. But I'm just sharing how blissful all of them are when they are doing their service. And okay, one more story about enthusiasm. In Ukraine, we were inviting brahmacharis, monks from the temple, to our home. We just started going to the temple, and they are leading kirtans. They're always talking about Krishna, and so to have some katha, we were inviting them, cooking something, and during our discussion, they always asked us, don't you want to we have this service at the temple, clean this, help decorate the temple room, cook something, do this, do that at the temple, come and, do something. And at that point with my wife, we're thinking, we have small kids, we have job, we have, mortgage to take care. What are you talking about, guys? Something like that. But then gradually we understood that then, they were trying to share their enthusiasm, the most sweet part of their lives. So, yes, enthusiasm. And it can actually become your, so to say, hobby. Instead of paying day-to-day attention to mundane news, understanding in details the political situation in your city, in your country, in the entire world, being up to date about, I don't know, health issues of your neighbor's dog, and learning the art of this or that. I just Googled, most not funny. What's the correct word? Hobbies in the world, and one of them was soap carving. So, collecting stamps. I don't know, checking what's next streaming on Netflix. Instead of all of this, you become obsessed with what you can do for the Lord and how to do it in the best possible way. Again, most of those activities that I just talked about, you can probably dedicate to Krishna as well, right? Even soap carving, you can carve deity. But okay, we already discussed that you can really dedicate any of your activities to Krishna, but that's pretty high level, at least for me. Next one. Here's one interesting thought I decided to add to this list. So oftentimes we hear how important it is to understand that we are not this body, but we are spiritual souls, right? This is the very basics of Krishna consciousness philosophy. And they say that without understanding this, it's difficult to go to the next step, to advance on this path. And next step, if we understand that we are the spiritual soul and we are parts and parcels of Krishna, what is our purpose? Our purpose is to serve the Lord and to uncover, to revive our relationships with Him. And then doing some practical steps towards that goal, some, like they say, sambandha, videya, prayojana. But let's get back to the first step, the very basics. We need to understand that we are spiritual souls, right? But actually we can't see the soul with our eyes, right? And even with the most powerful microscope, we heard how tiny the soul is. Here is the description. When the upper point of a hair is divided into 100 parts, and again, each of such parts is further divided into 100 parts, each such part is the measurement of the dimension of the spirit soul. So without seeing the soul, how can we have this strong understanding, right? The point I'm making here is that we can see the soul through its eternal activity, which is serving the Lord. Are you following me here? So when we see people in day-to-day life, most of the time they are taking care of their bodies, right? Going to work, going to the gym, buying groceries, even taking care of the families, taking care of their bodies, not about the souls. All these activities are directed to the bodies. So when we see devotees doing something wonderful for the Lord, selflessly, without expecting anything in return, actually, my realization, we see souls engaged in their eternal activity. So next time you want to see some souls, come and visit the temple and see devotees doing some seva. Okay. Anyone would like to add to the list of benefits of doing something practical?
We can repeat what circle of word and
Yes. Very good point. Exactly. Of course, I would add that our whole movement is based on active devotional service.
It's in ISKCON's, let's say, DNA to push boundaries, right? To organize events, so more people could come together, have facilities for chanting the holy names, discussing the Lord's pastimes. So
I think there are a lot more distractions and space outside. So if you connected to Krishna consciousness, you focus your energy to this direction. So, because if you go outside, there are many things, right? Many things to do. There are many things to do if you go outside, right? So you are always distracted. Sometimes you want this, other time you want that, right? But here you have to focus on Krishna, nothing else, right? So I think this is one of the most beneficial thing what I understand and what I think.
Thank you for sharing. It's very important.
Yeah.
Thank you. Very nice point. Anyone else would like to share something about your experience of benefits or drawbacks? Actually, I have one drawback on the list, but let's get after. Hare Krishna.
We develop more faith, and so like the worries kind of go less. Maybe we are less stressed. So like we develop faith, we develop a connection with Krishna. So we kind of feel that emotion, and so we worry and stress less. Maybe.
Yes. We understand what's most important in our lives, right?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes.
Very good point.
I would just want to add, we can concentrate better on what we're doing because our mind doesn't wander as much. Like when we practice meditation, it bleeds into everything else that we do in our life too.
Thank you for it. Just one last point of the benefits. So participating in organizing something substantial, by participating, you can feel how you're becoming a part of something bigger, big events. You're part of, this structure as the temple, because many people experience the effects of your service, right? For example, if you clean the temple, you are indirectly preaching to newcomers, because if someone comes into the temple and sees how clean, beautiful it is, how decorated everything, how many good dishes cooked for the Lord, how everything nicely organized, and so they think, I want this, right? So because many people experience the effects of your indirect, let's say, preaching or your service, as a result, bigger impact on our consciousness. So another benefit. So I hope there is not much drawbacks, but if anyone can think of any drawbacks of devotional service, I can add just one. So be careful. Yeah. With getting more involved in all the possible services, you can be so caught up and absorbed in it that you literally don't have time for your direct duties, like supporting yourself and your family. So it just can be job, but still I know someone who lost job because not paying good attention to their direct duties. Anyway, conditions. I'm close to the end. Bear with me for a couple of more minutes. Let's say, best approach in doing whatever you do for the Lord. Can you think of any conditions for doing practical devotional service?
Selfless service.
Yes, selfless service. Nice. Yeah, that's very important. We will touch a bit on that further, but yes, that's our consciousness condition. One of the most important conditions for doing anything for Krishna is in what consciousness we perform that service. We already talked about that a bit. You know, if you are reading something about the Lord and thinking, you know, when it's going to end, you know, I need to do this and that, it's not proper consciousness, really. Actually, Srila Prabhupada said that when you're reading his books, you are directly associating with Krishna. The same can be said in regards to chanting the holy names of the Lord. In this age, he incarnates in his holy name. So when we are chanting, we are associating with the Lord directly. And so in the same way, when we are doing something, let's say at the temple, again, washing dishes, mopping the floor, and thinking about something else, you know, planning some other activities. In other words, we are far out, you know, not present. That's not proper consciousness. Instead, we should check ourselves, you know, is this activity pleasing to Krishna? The more desire in us to please him, his devotees, and less desire to please ourselves, the better consciousness we have for performing certain type of devotional service. That's, you know, I'm preaching to myself here, because oftentimes I'm doing something, but you know, just checking out the list of things to do, but more important to doing proper consciousness for the Lord. Oh, one more story. I'm close to the end. So, going to a temple in Ukraine, you know, just being at the kitchen, washing the dishes. I remember one brahmachari monk, he came to me and asked, you know, just he's kind of friend. I didn't expect anything, you know, tricky question. And he asked, what are you doing? You know, immediately I said, I'm washing dishes. And he said, like, okay. But then the other day I saw the same situation, you know, he asked someone, and that devotee said, well, I'm washing dishes for Krishna, you know, and that was completely different approach, you know, and that monk was expecting from us to understand what we are doing, not just mopping the floor, you know, it's some activity for the Lord. It's complete turn around. So yeah, requirements. Let's discuss some what is needed to perform devotional service. And any qualifications are needed. How do you think? What do you think? There is just one answer.
What is devotion itself?
Devotion itself. Yep. Yeah. Well, I have almost the same. So my spiritual master Srila Niranjana Swami says that the only requirement is our desire, like our devotion, right? That's it. You don't have to be perfect to be, you know, saint, to be pure, I don't know, vegetarian, not only eating meat, fish, but also onion, garlic, not drinking tea or coffee. You know, even it's good, but anyway, the only requirement is our desire to please the Lord. Okay, any obstacles on this path? What would stop us for serving Krishna, from serving the Lord?
Yep.
Well,
Attachments.
Lack of desire.
Again, my Guru Maharaj says lack of desire. It's desire, or better to say lack of it, yeah. If we are not convinced of its importance, nobody
Do it, right? Yeah, those good points as well, our attachments. But if our desire is strong enough, that shouldn't be an obstacle. So, okay, this is almost the end, and the best time to practice devotional service, we can say whole year, every day, but since I mentioned participation in big projects and big events, you probably guessed that best time to engage in practical devotional service is local festivals. So yeah, let me just share with you our weekly bulletin. was the list of upcoming festivals here in Ottawa. So just seeing our email, upcoming festivals: Lord Balaram's Appearance Day, August 14, Sri Krishna Janmashtami, August 19, Appearance Day of Srila Prabhupada, August 20th, Radha Yatra, August 27th. So it's just, we were talking about Radha Yatra, but even before that, so many important festivals. And, you know, would be great to have you on that, every one of you. And you know, even if we don't participate, it will still take place, right? Because it's Krishna's festival, Krishna's event. But would be great to be a part of it, be a part of something, you know, big. And yeah, so these are some motivations that first I was preaching to myself, but I wanted to share with you. And yes, so let me see. That's probably we're close to the end. Nobody rushing me to finish by time. Let me see. Yeah, any reflections? I'm not sure about questions, because yeah, I'm good at putting something together and reading, but answering spontaneous questions, I'm not sure. Please, Krishna. No problem.
Hare Krishna. I'm deaf out of my left ear now. But yeah, my reflection was, thank you for a really nice presentation. And you know, recently my wife and I, we were interviewing this couple for some teaching positions. They're out of the country. They were somewhere else. And they've been all over the world. You know, they've been kind of, I mean, not specific, they're not too, you know, they don't know, you know, anything really about our affiliations with the Hare Krishna movement and so on. But we've been meeting with them for a couple of days, and they've been learning a little bit about our school and trying to make some decisions and choices. And they wanted to know a little bit about us, right? Ourselves, what it is that we do. Because actually they're looking for a community. They really want to go somewhere. They've had interviews in other places, and you know, they're Montessori teachers, they're trained, and all of that. And you know, some of the interviews that they had in other places seemed a little bit dry. The payment was good, the money was pretty good, but they weren't quite satisfied. And it's not to say that they're satisfied meeting with us on the interview, but the questions that they were asking us, like, yeah, we just want to, you know, have a place that has a community, and we could just do it like outside of school, do things together, you know, or we could bring a bottle of wine over, right, and we could be with our friends and those things. And we really try to make it clear that we're not that type of community, you know, like, it doesn't interest us, you know, you're not going to come over to our house and we're going to have a bottle of wine and just, you know, talk about things like this. And as they were saying this and we were talking about this, I was thinking, like, what is our community? Like, what's my community? What are our friendships? You know, what is it that completes us, right, in our activities? And I immediately started thinking about who are my friends, you know? I was thinking Krshna-seva Prabhu, the devotees at the temple, Sahar Prabhu, you know, coming together and having our morning programs together. I felt that these are our true friends. And I felt that this is something that becomes very fulfilling for us, is when we have interactions with these friends. And these interactions are not based on, you know, like you do with your high school friends, you have a reunion, you talk about nothing, you know, the neighbor's dog, right? And whatnot. But, you know, you do things together, and you're doing things for Krishna. You have a purpose in your life, and your life is you're preparing a festival. Now, why are you doing a festival? Because you want to please Krishna's devotees. You want to be able to host them. You want to get their blessings, you know, their happiness. And so, you know, similarly, Krshna-seva Prabhu was talking about all this stuff, and I think everybody is looking for love. Everybody is really looking for community, or a kind of relationship that is going to become fulfilling for them. And so, you know, Krshna-seva Prabhu is saying that here we are. Here we have Prabhupada brought this wonderful movement. He really created, what's that slogan, a house where the whole world can live. And so if you're looking for that, if you're really looking for the secret, right, find that secret relationship or that community, then
I think there's some truth in what Krshna-seva Prabhu is saying. So we need to try to dig a little bit and uncover it. And we have a gold mine, right? This is a gold mine for us, actually. And through the process of devotional service, we can reap this gold. We can take it. Anyways, that's a thought.
Thank you. Actually, looking into most of you, I realize how many all of you do, and sorry for not mentioning some of you, but who am I preaching to? You are all so active. Thank you for your association. And any other reflections, comments? Otherwise, it's time for please, Prabhu.
You have to press it. It's clicking. Yeah.
Hare Krishna Guru. First of all, very nice presentation. Thank you so much for bringing so many important points, and I can understand the power of devotional service. When I think about devotional service, at the same time, it clicks in my mind service to society, right? Like we serve our society in many ways, like educating poor people, donation, food, whatever, right? So, do you believe that both paths actually lead to the same destination, or both are different? Like if you do devotional service, then you directly get connected to the God, but when you do the service to the society, that you are doing some good karma, but do you believe that that path also lead to God? Because I have some confusion, like because a person, like for example, a person who does devotional service, and at the same time another person who does service to society. So at the end, they will get the same benefit out of that?
Well, as Srila Prabhupada said, the best charity for the society is to let people know about Krishna, because we can, and it's good to be involved in those activities, and but since we know about Krishna, why not to add to whatever we do for societies a bit Krishna, just your consciousness. I am doing this, the Lord, for you. I'm taking care of poor, about kids, participating in building hospitals, schools, all the types. And our acharyas, our spiritual masters, they say just do whatever you do, but just add up a little bit Krishna there. Just chant with them at the end of any event, or I don't know whatever you do. Just let them know somehow about the Lord. And it's not that they are, from my point of view, it's those two activities, direct devotional service and taking care of society, that they are in some contradiction. They can go together, right? It depends on our consciousness. But regarding the result of it, I'm not sure. If we add up Krishna there, then the result should be the same, from my small understanding. If other devotees would like to add up.
Well, Prabhupada says that if we do some nice things, some good things, they're like considered like zeros, right? Everything that we do is zero, right? But if we add Krishna in front of it, it gives it a value, right? Something becomes 10 or 100 or 1,000, right? Those kind of things. And essentially, we're just not doing service for the sake of service. Like a person who's walking down the street is doing service too. He's serving the dog by picking up the poop and, constantly. And they're so eager to do service, that they wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning, right? To do that, to take the dog for a walk. We get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and we're doing, Aarti, right? And doing a morning program. But again, this is a constitutional requirement of the soul, right? We need to do a service. And the way that it's designed, right? The way that it's supposed to be, our natural element is to be doing that service. There's another microphone on the other side.
No matter what you do, you have to mute it. Yeah. Just press the button. Are you muted? No. Did we do it? Hooray! So, yeah, if we do that, right, if we're doing service for Krishna, this is what's going to be actually satisfying to us, and we'll get the best benefit out of it. Another example is when we water the root of a tree, right? When you water just branches, and this is kind of what doing humanitarian stuff, only is. It's basically, it's like you're putting a little bit of a relief on the branches of the tree. But are you nourishing the tree? Really, essentially, no, right? To nourish the tree, you have to water the root of the tree. And if you do that, then naturally all the elements of the tree, are nourished. All the components of your life become auspicious, right? There's a value there. There was an example somebody once told me, I remember, they wanted to do some good stuff, right? They were volunteering in the soup kitchen. They were going and, they wanted their time to be worth something valuable, so they started to give out the soups and doing those things, and they realized that every Tuesday this mother with a fancy van would come out, right, and she would take all the food, right, with her to be able to use, right, and she was perfectly well off, but she found a way to cheat the system somehow, right, and those who really needed it, they weren't able to benefit from it, and this person who was dedicating his time to want to do something good for others, they were doing that and, wasting all that energy, right? All those efforts that were there. So essentially, when people sometimes ask, right, then they look at us, why aren't you, somebody I think mentioned at some point, why aren't you next door going to the people? And, we used to have subsidized low-income housing was next door. And why aren't you going and giving food, to them, making prasadam regularly? No, we are, we're open to everybody. We're not making any distinction of who are we going to give prasadam to or not, right? But at the same time, people are very deprived of spiritual knowledge, and it's not a matter of material opulence, right? People can be making tons of money, with great wages, but they're completely spiritually bereft. They don't have any satisfaction with it. And you can see that sometimes, when you go, many people have experienced this. You go to India, right, and you can see on the world scale, it's viewed as a, maybe not so opulent, right, third world country, but when you see down the street, all the babas who are there, they're completely satisfied. They're happy, There's temples at every corner. So this is really, this is the best welfare work that we can do. We make this connection with Krishna. And this.
Hare Krishna. It seems it's time. Oh, yeah. Okay. Question or a comment?
I just want to give a small reflection on the comment, Prabhuji's question. That's a very nice point. So I heard from my Guru Maharaj says that it's a law of karma. When we make any karma, we get a positive response for it. And in the next birth, we get a better life. But we have to take a life again. So it's like you are released from the shackles of iron chain and you are getting the golden chains, but you're still in the prison. It's a dukhalim shashvatam. So to get out of the cycle, we need to do a nishkam karma, karma without expectation of the fruits. So it's whatever karma we do with the consciousness that we are not doing, I am doing it, I'm doing it for the service of Krishna. Anything we can do, whether it's serving people or serving prasadam, with the consciousness when we serve prasadam that it's a Krishna's prasadam and serving it to give somebody a Krishna's blessing. So in that consciousness we do it, that's calm. And it helps us to get out of the cycle of we are stuck in.
Thank you for coming. Thank you. Okay, it's time to next part. Kirtan, thank you very much for thanking for listening to Hare Krishna. Thank you for coming. Srila Prabhupada ki.
Yeah, yeah.